If you like car chase and transporter movies, the Netflix's French action car series called Lost Bullet, consisting of 3 parts, is something you definitely cannot miss. In a custom workshop, the genius mechanic Lino is rebuilding a compact car, a Renault Clio. He moved into the front compartment and put a giant engine in the back seat. After a final adjustment, everything is ready. He took his younger brother Quentin with him to rob a jewelry store to help Quentin pay off his debt. His plan was as reliable as a superhero family's plan to use the Clio to crash straight through a concrete wall. Because he had to ensure the vehicle's center of gravity was balanced, the 2 brothers had to sit together in the front row. He gave his younger brother a helmet to ensure safety while he wore his own. The 2 people buckled their seatbelts and started the engine. Just like that, Lino drove the car through 4 layers of concrete walls. Just as the 2 brothers were about to get out of the car, the Renault seatbelt got stuck. From afar, police sirens sounded. Could the police really be this effective, already at the scene? Lino quickly told Quentin to leave immediately, and he was taken to jail. However, talent will shine wherever it is. Hadn't Director Moreau and the hot item team leader Charis already arrived? Because recently the drug dealers were driving too aggressively and the police cars weren't powerful enough, so Charis kept an eye on Lino and wanted to recruit him to the team to modify the cars. There was a muscular guy who was not satisfied with Lino, but Lino did not choose a direct confrontation. He just secretly made a few adjustments on the gym equipment. Finally, Moreau agreed. Charis called Lino and the 2 of them talked. Lino of course agrees. This is a good opportunity to atone for his sins. However, Charis soon noticed Lino's small actions earlier. He told Lino to be careful and survive until tonight, waiting for him to come pick Lino up from prison. This paragraph is quite important. It depicts the sharp but flexible captain of the hot pursuit team, Charis, along with a Lino who just wants to serve his prison sentence and doesn't want to cause trouble. Charis leaves the team members' information to Lino. As a result, Lino immediately fell in love with the black girl Julia. Just like that, the police cars customized by Lino had their first battle. They drive the European version of the Ford Mondeo, famous for its durability. Lino also specially reinforced the front of the car. The car is like a wild locust clinging on for the kill. On the radio, teammate Areski wanted to take action. Charis told him not to rush, having Julia was enough. Julia, who was driving, was very pleased with this steel monster. She started pursuing the BMW 5 Series wagon of drug sellers. Faced with the police car that was constantly chasing them, the drug traders directly opened fire. Bullets were fired at the Ford, but it seemed useless, just scratching the surface. Seeing police cars getting closer and closer, the drug traders turned on acceleration mode, just like Lino in the beginning of the movie, and drove away. Looking at the wagon getting further and further away, Julia was extremely upset, but there was nothing she could do. Her car doesn't have enough power. However, the BMW did not go far before the engine started smoking and the car began to decelerate. This meant that the smugglers were unable to escape. But a strange turn of events occurred. Areski's car rushed in the opposite direction, so the BMW crashed head-on. Charis and Julia got out. Areski and Marco from the opposite car also got out and surrounded it both front and back. But under the strong blow and impact, the drug traders died. Charis was a little dissatisfied. He wanted to capture them live, but now they just seized drugs of completely different value. Julia saw the proud look of Marco and his accomplices and was also extremely speechless. Charis was observant and discovered that in the BMW there were the same car parts as Lino's car. The camera moved to the tuning workshop. Hearing the sound of the squad car returning, Lino immediately turned into a helpless person seeking out Julia. But Julia paid no attention to him. Marco also didn't like him and directly opened the car door to block him. He told Lino to stay under the car and not come out here. Lino saw Charis and expressed his desire to stay overnight and return to prison tomorrow morning. Hearing this, Charis agreed. That day, Areski, who succeeded in the car crash, started boasting about his achievements to Lino. Highest speed 240, hit directly at 140. Back in the office, Charis poured cold water on Areski. He felt that the smugglers seemed as if insiders in the police team. Each time only a little drug is released for them to catch, but it does not affect the entire market. On the other side, Lino started talking to Julia again and received a harsh refusal. Lino was both angry and helpless that Julia does not value a gypsy like him. He had to turn his sadness into passion and pour it all into his overtime shift tonight. The next morning, he returned to the prison turn to report into regulations. When Charis arrived, he drove his beloved Renault 21. Lino saw Charis's Renault 21 and immediately wanted to work on it, but Charis said he absolutely must not let him touch this car. Everyone should remember this detail. Helplessly, Lino urged Charis to drive faster because he had to go back to prison. Charis takes Lino to a giant warehouse. Here it seems to be all Mercedes vans. In general, all of these small vehicles will later belong to
anti-drug team. Lino looked at it with bright eyes. The better news is that Charles showed him a document. Because over the past 9 months he has continuously made amends for his sins, Charles has applied for early pardon for him. Lino was extremely touched. Charles showed Lino the component he found yesterday. As soon as Lino looked, he knew it was a fuel injection splitter that could help the engine accelerate 3 times faster, but not for more than 200 meters or the engine will blow. Charles said he saw this in the car Lino used to crash the jewelry store. That night there was another person. Who is he? However, Charles told Lino to rest assured that his target was the smugglers behind it. Lino told Charles that person was his younger brother. Just like that, Charles relied on his clues to take Lino to the smuggler's car repair shop, but he had to wait for Areski to come along, so he gave Lino 2 minutes to go in first. Charles called Areski again. It was this call that left behind evidence in Areski's favor. After entering, Lino met Quentin. Quentin seemed unhappy and told his brother to quickly leave. It was not safe here. Sure enough, an old man wearing a prosthetic leg heard the noise and walked out. Next to him was also a thug with a shaved head. The old man signaled the thug to chase Lino out. Here, Lino still did not attack and just continuously dodged. When the old man held the flamethrower and was about to attack, Charles arrived and grabbed the old man's gun. On one hand, he told Lino to search for the thug. Just as Charles was about to interrogate the old man, Areski and Marco's pickup truck drove directly into the site. Seeing his teammates coming, Charles, who has been smart all his life, was negligent this time. He lowered his guard and told Lino to drive his car away. At the same time, he told Marco and Areski to hold the old man. As for Areski, he was preparing to take over Quentin. Charles had promised Lino he would release Quentin, so he said, "Let me do it." Areski looked at Marco with a gloomy face because the plan failed and they looked at each other. Areski then gestured with his eyes to the old man. The old man understood what he meant. Lino and Quentin were happily reunited when Areski pulled out his gun. Lino looked at Charles being hit and was stunned. Areski, who opened fire, was also in a complicated mood, but he doesn't regret it. He's just calculating how to frame someone. Marco was dumbfounded. He didn't expect Areski to be so cruel. Quentin immediately yelled to get in the car. Lino transformed into a superhuman and quickly ran away. "They want to kill us." Lino reacted in time, took the gun and shot back, taking the opportunity to escape. Areski tagged Quentin away and then stepped forward to confirm that Charles had stopped breathing. He started calculating his next plan. Marco chased after Lino, but only found a tracking device missing. Seeing this, Areski was extremely angry and immediately told the old man and his accomplices to quickly destroy Char's car. He and Marco chased after Lino. He forgot that the bullet that shot Charles was still in the car. On the other side, Lino held a gun and ran to the gas station, wanting to borrow the phone to call Julia. But unfortunately, there were 3 policemen in the convenience store. So Lino was captured alive on the spot and taken to the police station. A policeman recognized him as the mechanic for Charles. Lino begged the other person to call Julia. The officer agreed, but in the end, the person who entered the interrogation room was Areski. Seeing that, Lino was scared. As soon as Areski entered, he turned off the surveillance camera and began to threaten and coerce him. He hoped Lino would cooperate in testifying that people in the car repair shop killed Charles. That way, everyone is happy. If he doesn't agree, that's okay. Areski had the message asking for help that Lino sent to Charles, and Lino had Charles's blood on him. In addition, his criminal status can be said to be extremely disadvantageous. After saying those words, Areski turned the surveillance camera back on. In the entire anti-drug team, Areski and Lino already had a pretty good relationship, but faced with this great problem, Lino did not agree. Areski saw that he was being stubborn, so he said, "Think about it," and left. Just like that, the police officers watched Lino through the surveillance screen, futilely removing the handcuffs. But after all, Lino is a mechanic, and though he can't remove the handcuffs, he can solve the problem. Just 2 moments after Areski went out, they didn't lock the door. When the police arrived, Lino easily defeated them with 2 moves, took the key to open his handcuffs, and started his rampage. Sorry, but no police officer at the station is Lino's opponent. Actor Albin Lenoir, who played Lino, since playing a GGIN officer in the movie The Assault, has begun to shine in the French action movie genre. Besides this movie, Lost Bullet, he also has another movie called The Wolf's Call, which is also very good. As for the rampage action of Lino, if it were cut a little faster, it would feel like a French version of John Wick. And this passage shows that the character Lino has good fighting ability. His outstanding strength and fighting mindset are also very flexible, but he also does not use dirty tricks. After all, this is dealing with the police. One police officer has quite good skills and is also very aggressive, but she was overpowered by Lino twice. The first time he pulled her hair, the second time he threw her down.
This is the competition of strength between men and women. Lino passed the first hurdle and went outside the police station. As soon as he saw people, he knew he would be exposed. There is no other way but to continue. After playing for a while, then attacking another area, Lino began giving instructions on how to use the riot shield correctly. In the end, Lino was overwhelmed by people on both sides and was pinned by a man. Just when we thought he was at the end of his rope, he found his opponent's pepper spray. After a period of struggle, he successfully breaks through. The story takes us to the fake crime scene. Julia was heartbroken, and Director Moreau looked at Charles's body and the car that had burned down. She did not believe that the murderer was Lino. Areski wanted to take this opportunity to seize power, but Moreau did not agree. Areski found Marco, who was now free of Charles's restraints. They can ship more drugs. Julia was extremely miserable and followed the rescue vehicle back to the vehicle repair shop of the anti-drug team. She looked at the car being towed back and the empty seats. She couldn't control her sadness. Charles is her superior and her mentor, a guide to her path as a police officer. Lino came here and locked up his colleagues and then found Julia, wanting to clarify things for herself. He told the truth. Julia seemed to believe him. Lino sadly approached her and hugged her. As a result, she seriously suspected Lino was taking the opportunity to advantage of her. This Julia is truly a tough person. She was excellent in all 3 films. After all, she is a goddess. Lino still gently held her. From the previous rampage scene, it can be seen that Lino's strength can suppress Julia, but he is still worried about hurting his goddess. She successfully pretended that her leg was twisted and that she fainted. As a result, Lino used Julia's handcuffs to handcuff her. When Lino stood up, he leaned against the wheel rim and determined that this was not Charles's car. This means that the decisive piece of evidence, the bullet, remains. He immediately chose to leave. When Areski arrived, Director Moreau was also present at the scene. She did not believe Julia's words. Areski immediately played the good guy. Julia went aside and began to dig for information. Julia said what Lino said. Hearing that, Areski immediately began psychological manipulation. Lino is taking advantage of the romance rumors between the two of you. Doing so would make her suspect you. Believe me, I will help you. Julia looked a bit agitated. As for Lino, he went to the smuggler's car repair shop first. He saw the old man and his henchmen working and immediately went in to steal guns. As soon as he got a gun, he wanted to get another pistol when he was discovered by a thug. As a result, his attempt to steal weapons failed and instead ended up falling into the trap. After Charles's death, Areski was not promoted, but Director Moreau personally came to manage the anti-drug team. This makes Areski worried. He needed these cars to transport drugs. He begged Moreau not to disband the team, but then the two argued. Moreau is the director after all. She orders Areski to find Lino first. At this time, Marco received a phone call and called Areski. Before this guy left, he even said something about Lino pursuing Julia. As expected, there was a master of infighting in the car repair shop. Lino and the old man negotiated. He knew the Renault 21 had been hidden. The old man didn't say much and signaled his henchmen to deal with Lino. Quentin saw his brother being held at gunpoint and then stuffed into the trunk of the car and was extremely worried. A crazy thought flashed in his mind. He stepped on the accelerator and crashed straight into the old man, while Lino took the opportunity to counterattack. The two brothers immediately ran away. Quentin knew the Renault 21 was hidden on a farm, but they have to get the robbery money and drugs first. As soon as Quentin heard this, Lino decided to confess to the police. Quentin's whole body wanted to collapse. He didn't want to go to jail, but he had no other choice but to listen to his brother. Areski rushed over after receiving the phone call and was extremely speechless. He freed the old man and the bald-headed guy came out. The smugglers and the corrupt police, who had cooperated well, began to quarrel. Areski was already displeased with these two idiots. He shot and killed the old man, then said to Marco to go kill the bald guy. The bad guy wanted to live and told him about the Renault 21, but Marco still killed him. However, Marco hid this matter. The two of them are now equally dissatisfied with each other's intentions. As for Julia, she was told by her colleagues that the car was not Charles's at all. She was angry and immediately went to report to Moreau, but Moreau had just heard from Areski and decided to completely keep her out of the loop. Compared to the upright and trusting Charles before, Moreau is the type of boss that Julia hates the most. Just when Julia was extremely angry, she received a phone call from Lino. Julia decided to believe him for once. They arranged to meet. After meeting, Lino and Quentin told the truth. However, with only witness statements, Julia is still skeptical. Lino proposed a cooperation plan, find that car and the bullet as evidence of the crime. Returning to the parking lot, Julia discovered someone was following her. She immediately threw the car keys to Lino, and she moved forward to slash the tire of her colleague's car.
Then gave up and endured the glare from her colleague. On the other side, Moreau received a report that further reinforced the case against Julia and Lino. Moreau immediately called Areski to join in the pursuit of Lino's group. Marco said he would help Areski drive his car home. After watching the two leave, he got fully equipped but went somewhere else. Lino and Quentin went to the farm where the car was hidden. Quentin found a bag of stolen money and drugs. He excitedly told his brother, "We can run away with millions now." Lino looked at this scene and was stunned. He needs proof to return his innocence, not to run away. Lino quickly chased after him. As a result, the 1v1 farm fight begins. On one side is Marco from the Special Forces team, holding a shotgun and wearing a bulletproof vest. On the other side is Lino, wandering around holding a rifle with no bullets and no armor. Everyone watches who will win, and Quentin is barely holding on outside. He chose the wrong profession and couldn't save himself. He could only crawl to the side. After all, Lino is a rampage-level war god and easily defeated Marco. He walked out the door and saw his younger brother down. Lino's pain was excruciating and he was extremely miserable. Although the two are not biological siblings, they grew up together in an orphanage since childhood. Now his brother's fate was sealed. Lino was the only one left, so how could he not feel sad? Lino wanted to pick up his younger brother, but discovered the clue that Quentin left behind before he died. Following clues, he found the Renault 21 under a pile of cow dung. He quickly pulled the car out. The bullet hole through the control panel still was there. The evidence is in hand. Lino immediately called Julia, but the phone fell into Areski's hands. The two sworn enemies exchanged details. Areski has taken control of the anti-drug team. Lino got the Renault 21. So the current situation is a stalemate. And the conflict between the two strong women also needs to be resolved. Moreau wanted Julia to obey, and Julia wanted to seek cooperation. The two disagreed and broke up. The conflict between these two people lasted until part 3. Now Lino's problem is how to transport the car back. So to bring justice to Shiraz and also to restore innocence to himself, Lino took action with Shiraz's beloved car. He took advantage of the tools on the farm to make some simple modifications to the Renault 21.
He came to the gas store from last time to intentionally attract attention so that the store staff would report it to the police. Oreski and his subordinates immediately received the news and immediately set out. A great race of speed and fury between the red and blue sides begins. On a one-way street, Lino was not in a hurry. He took advantage of a large truck to block the police's view. A police car passed him completely without seeing Lino behind him. Lino drove directly close to the rear of that car, using the newly customized ramming bumper to start approaching. The police car immediately maneuvered skillfully, but Lino was an expert driver after all. Following close behind, Lino finally found an opportunity. The rear axle of the police car flew off. These French guys are truly the top of the top. Only with the chase of 2 cars can they create such eye-catching scenes. And this is just part 1. The next 2 parts are even crazier. The car chases in the entire series do not fly into the sky or go underground. It doesn't violate physics, but they are still extremely attractive and exaggerated. Lino continued to push the police car forward as cannon fodder. It's really pathetic. The person sitting in the passenger seat is still the police officer whom Lino defeated with 2 moves at the police station. He begged Lino to stop, but how could Lino agree? Because that is Lino's purpose. He bet that Oreski's men in front would not dare open fire on his colleagues. He also needed the car as a battering ram. On the radio channel, the police were pleading not to shoot, while Lino pushed them with his car. The policemen on the other side began to hesitate. But Oreski didn't care that much and ordered them to open fire. So the other police officers who had been beaten down by Lino before started shooting. It can be seen that this police officer really hates Lino to the core. The 2 people in the police car cried out pitifully. Luckily, the front windshield of the car was quite thick and they narrowly escaped death. It seems like by the next round they will be miserable. Having crashed through the barrier, Lino immediately used the concrete pile along the roadside to knock out the police car in front and continue to rush away. Luckily, the 2 people in the police car did not die. Oreski didn't pay any attention to them anymore and quickly got in the car to chase. Here, the others do not have a great personal grudge against Lino, but they are forced to kill Lino. Moreau on the team received the notification. She no longer cared about the conflict and told Julia to quickly capture Lino alive. Julia is also a tough person who doesn't wait for the leader to get in the car and immediately drives away in Moreau's dual-cab BMW. On this side, Lino and Oreski drove into the urban area. This part was really stimulating. Anyway, the French are still very good at filming car chase scenes. Julia called on the radio channel asking everyone to protect Lino, absolutely not letting Oreski harm Lino. Oreski got mad and attacked his teammates, directly overturning the police car blocking the road ahead. Julia saw this
scene and also participated in the battle. Oreski chased Leo, taking advantage of his SUV's advantage, repeatedly crashed into the Renault 21. At this moment, Julia appeared to help. 3 cars drove side by side. Lino and Julia exchanged looks of absolute understanding. Lino immediately stepped on the brake and Julia steered hard. The dual-cab BMW crashed into the Mercedes. Oreski crashed and overturned his car, but Julia also damaged most of the leader's BMW dual-cab. Lino immediately got out of the car to check on Julia's injuries. Luckily, the goddess had no major problems, but this gave Oreski an opportunity. He threw a grenade into the Renault 21. After the grenade exploded, it burned the trunk at the back of the car. Lino, who was still fighting Oreski, impatiently got into the car, taking advantage of every second to drive off. Julia got out of the car, but no longer had the strength to pursue Oreski. Lino drove the burning car straight into the car repair shop of the anti-drug team. When colleagues saw it, they immediately put out the fire. And Lino, because he didn't wear a seatbelt, was of course thrown out. He tried to take a breath and looked up, seeing that the car was still safe, then fainted with peace of mind. He had already pointed to the bullet as evidence of the crime. After recreating the trajectory of the bullet and exonerating Lino, Moreau told Julia to keep the genius mechanic and race car driver on. The anti-drug team needs him. As for Oreski, he went home to collect the cash. In the end, he was still determined to run. Everyone can rest assured that this villain will make it through to part 3, where he will then receive the appropriate ending. The first part of Lost Bullet ends with the silhouettes of Julia and Lino. And Cheris's Renault 21, which carries everyone's memories of him, will forever stay in the anti-drug team. The value of a movie lies in its reputation, and the value of a movie review lies in its insight. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching the video. What do you like about this movie? Please comment below and leave a like. See you again in the next recap.